as always, it's probably just a good idea to have blocks, a stretchy band, maybe a cushion around every time we practice together. But today, I think the things that will be useful are a stretchy band, possibly blocks. So whatever you feel like using, and maybe those. And we're going to start standing today. One of the things that we're going to look at is resistance, momentum, and control, and how those three things kind of work in movement. So we're going to start standing and have your stretchy band where you can reach it. Just start with your feet a little apart, and we're going to do some windmills. So let your arms swing around and allow yourself to, as usual, use some momentum. You're shifting your weight from one foot to the other. So you're shifting it to your right foot when you turn to the right, your left foot when you turn to the left. And you can allow your back foot to lift up if you like. Maybe just the heel comes up, but maybe the whole foot. Then you can let your arms kindly give you pats on the hips, maybe bring them up higher. Then they pat you on the shoulder. And you can make it vigorous if you like. You can make it gentle if you like. But make sure you're using a little momentum here. Maybe taking some big, deep breaths as you move. And then slow that down. And then begin doing the same thing, but doing it with absolute control. So you're moving in slow motion. And it might feel a little weird because, I don't know, like this is just not really something that we do. But using as much control as you can muster, do the same exact movement. And you maybe notice, does it feel awkward? Does it feel a little funny? What does it require to really control the movement? And what is the result? And then you can stop that and grab your band. Holding each end in a hand, step onto your band. So it's stretched between your legs and you have the ends in your hand. And we're going to try the same movement, but using the band. And this is going to create some resistance to work against. Try not to let go and snap yourself in the foot. And notice, like, what does this feel like? It might be a lot more difficult. Might be much more awkward. And these are things that, we encounter resistance, control, momentum in everyday life. And you might consider how in everyday life, when you come up against these things or you're working with these things, what kind of stuff comes up for you? Gosh, I feel like my ears are burning as I'm doing this, like all the effort. And that's not unlike how I feel sometimes when I encounter resistance in life. So, yeah, that's probably enough of that. You can let that go. And you can set your band aside. And as you're ready, come on down to your back. And come into constructive rest posture with your feet right under your knees. You can take a peek at your thighs. Make sure they're pretty much parallel. You can press your hands into the mat and just take a couple of deep breaths before we begin moving. And when you're ready, start curling your spine up, starting from the tailbone, coming into bridge or Setu Bandha Sarvangasana. When you get to the top, pause. Notice that you need to control your movement here to hold you steady. You might check in with your feet. What would it be like to try squeezing your feet towards your body without moving them? So it's just an isometric movement, quote unquote movement. It's an isometric action, but nothing really moves. And then roll your spine back down. If you want to do a couple of windshield wipers, you can. If you want to pull your knees into your chest, you can. If you'd like to stretch your legs out, whatever you like. Then set yourself up for another bridge. Roll your spine up. And you can do the same thing as last time, or this time you might try shifting your weight into one foot, maybe hovering the other, and then reversing, aiming to see if you can keep your hips pretty level. And if you like that, you might consider shifting all your weight into one foot, maybe straightening the other leg out. So it's hovering, lifting up, and shifting back and forth a couple of times. Again, aiming to keep your hips pretty level, aiming to keep them lifted. And maybe noticing, like, as I'm doing this today, all the blood is rushing to my head. And I'm very aware of that. So, whatever you're noticing for yourself, maybe do that one or two more times.